Have you ever found yourself craving a product after a quick advertisement or saying yes to a deal that later felt impulsive? Those moments aren't random. They're orchestrated by subtle persuasion techniques designed to steer your decisions. From the headlines you read to the products you buy, hidden influences constantly shape your perceptions and choices. Understanding these forces can free you from making reflexive decisions and empower you to act with intention. Picture a world where many of your free choices are actually guided by invisible nudges. Decades ago, authors like Vance Packard warned that advertisers were tapping into unconscious motivations. Today, those methods have evolved into digital nudges and psychological tricks that weave through news feeds, shopping carts, and social media. This video shines a light on those hidden tactics so you can recognize them and take back control. The illusion of choice, everyday mind games. Marketers know that how a question is asked or a product is described can sway your choice. A food described as gourmet feels more appealing than the same item labeled economy, and headlines framed around losses spur stronger reactions than those about gains. This technique, called framing, primes your mind before you even weigh the options. Pricing strategies often exploit anchoring. By showing a high original price first, retailers make the eventual sale price seem like a bargain. Behavioral pricing experts explain that presenting a high anchor creates a reference point that makes later numbers feel smaller. Another trick is the left-digit effect, where prices ending in 0.99 are perceived as cheaper because we focus on the leftmost digit. Scarcity appeals, add urgency. A countdown timer or only 3 left message taps into our fear of missing out and pushes us to act quickly. Research shows that limited edition labels can significantly boost purchase intent. Combined with loss aversion, the idea that we feel losses more intensely than gains, urgency tactics make limited time deals hard to resist. Recognizing these ploys helps you slow down and decide on your own terms. The power of social proof, following the herd. When unsure, we look to others. Social proof is the tendency to assume that popular opinions or behaviors must be correct. In a 2024 analysis, researchers note that people often choose a higher-priced product with strong reviews over a cheaper one with fewer reviews. Star ratings, testimonials, and top-rated labels serve as shortcuts that reduce uncertainty. Online platforms amplify social proof with visible metrics. Most popular lists, customers also bought suggestions, and follow accounts all signal what others are doing. Even when we know little about an item, seeing that thousands approve makes us feel safer buying it. The human tendency to mimic others extends beyond products. A Cornell study found that people automatically copy each other's facial expressions, regardless of agreement or political alignment. On social media, this mimicry manifests as viral challenges and trends that spread because we instinctively join the herd. Emotional triggers, how feelings guide our decisions. Marketing taps into emotion because feelings often override logic. Nostalgia is particularly powerful. By evoking positive memories from the past, nostalgia marketing improves mood and makes audiences more receptive. Studies show that nostalgia increases willingness to spend money, a phenomenon dubbed the nostalgia effect. Brands revive retro logos, products, and characters to harness this longing for simpler times. Fear of missing out drives impulsive behavior. Limited time offers and scarcity messages exploit our aversion to loss. Research demonstrates that consumers value items more when they seem scarce, and that they often act quickly to avoid missing a deal. Airlines' flash sales and e-commerce countdown timers create a sense of urgency that can override thoughtful decision-making. Appeals to aspiration and identity also guide choices. Advertising often links products to desirable lifestyles. Athletic wear promises a fit identity. Luxury goods suggest success. Nostalgia's link to identity shows how revisiting the past helps us affirm who we are, and aspirational marketing uses the same principle. By associating a product with a better version of ourselves, it becomes more than an object. It becomes part of our story. Cognitive shortcuts. The brain's efficiency traps. Our brains use shortcuts to process information quickly, but these can lead to bias. Confirmation bias makes us seek out evidence that supports our existing beliefs and ignore contrary information. In the digital age, algorithms reinforce this bias by curating our feeds to show similar content. A 2025 commentary explains that confirmation bias thrives in online echo chambers where users repeatedly encounter ideas that align with their views. These filter bubbles entrench beliefs and reduce openness to opposing perspectives. The halo effect causes us to let one positive trait influence our overall impression. In celebrity endorsements, fans transfer their admiration for a performer onto the product they promote. A study on behavioral economics points out that the halo effect leads consumers to see a person's qualities in a way that matches their past impressions. This can boost sales for endorsed products, but also backfire if the celebrity's reputation suffers. Authority bias makes us defer to authority figures without critical evaluation. People tend to accept statements from experts, leaders, or even celebrities as true, even when evidence is lacking. This bias can lead to unquestioning obedience, as shown by psychological experiments where participants followed instructions that conflicted with their morals. Recognizing authority bias helps us evaluate claims based on evidence rather than credentials alone. Empowering your mind. Becoming influence-proof. Awareness is the first defense against manipulation. Practicing mindfulness can help you notice emotional reactions triggered by ads and messages. When a deal sparks excitement or fear, pause and ask whether the feeling comes from the product's value or the way it was presented. High mindfulness levels have been found to reduce the impact of marketing distractions. Fact-checking and source verification are essential in the digital age. Consult multiple independent sources or look up the original study behind a claim. Tools like fact-checking websites and academic databases can help separate evidence from opinion. Develop critical thinking by actively seeking diverse perspectives. Counteract confirmation bias by reading viewpoints that challenge your own and discussing them with people who think differently. Ask who benefits from a message. Is there a financial or ideological motive? Recognizing emotional manipulation is also key. If nostalgia, FOMO, or aspiration are being used, evaluate whether they're relevant to the product's real value. Finally, share your insights. Social proof works both ways. When informed individuals challenge manipulative tactics, they influence others to think critically too. By spreading awareness of these hidden strategies, you help build a culture that values transparency and autonomy. Conclusion: we've uncovered the hidden persuasion tactics woven into everyday life. Framing, anchoring, and left-digit pricing create the illusion of choice, while scarcity and FOMO exploit our fear of missing out. Social proof nudges us toward the crowd, and emotional triggers like nostalgia and aspiration tap into our identities. Cognitive shortcuts such as confirmation bias, the halo effect, and authority bias can distort our judgment. The goal isn't to distrust everything, but to recognize when we're being nudged. By practicing mindfulness, verifying sources, and questioning motives, we can slow down and make decisions that reflect our true preferences. The more we understand these influences, the more control we regain over our own minds, and that awareness is the first step toward genuine freedom of choice. Which form of influence do you notice the most in your own life? Emotional triggers, social proof, or hidden design? Share your thoughts below. Awareness starts with conversation. Subscribe to explore how the mind works behind the choices we think are our own.